Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve their goals with ease, while others stay stuck in the same frustrating patterns? What if the difference wasn't about talent, luck, or resources, but a single powerful factor within your control? The answer lies in habits, the small, seemingly insignificant actions you take daily. These actions, repeated over time, shape your outcomes, your mindset, and ultimately your life. The good news? Habits can be shifted, and with the right approach, you can rewrite your story. In Growth Shift, Empower Success with Positive Habits, we'll embark on a journey to transform your habits and mindset step by step. Through relatable examples, practical exercises, and powerful insights, this book will help you unlock your full potential. You'll discover that success isn't about drastic change. It's about a steady, intentional shift. Ready to begin? Let's start your growth shift today. Chapter 1. The Power of Shift. Embracing the Change Within. Have you ever felt like you're running on autopilot, stuck in routines that don't truly serve you? Days blur together, filled with habits and choices that feel comfortable, but ultimately leave you wondering, is this all there is? It's easy to fall into these patterns, especially when they offer a sense of familiarity or security. Yet, staying in these routines can keep us from growing, holding us back from the life we truly want to live. The first step in creating positive change is recognizing that we have the power to shift, not by overhauling our lives overnight, but by making intentional choices that align with the future we want to create. Even the smallest action taken with purpose can spark a profound transformation. The core idea of this chapter is simple but profound. Small changes, when done consistently, create powerful results over time. Many people assume transformation requires monumental effort. But the truth is, success often begins with subtle shifts in how we think and act. These small shifts are the stepping stones that bridge the gap between where we are and where we want to be. For example, consider someone who wants to improve their health. Instead of committing to an extreme diet or grueling fitness plan, they might start with a single change, like walking for 15 minutes each day. At first, it seems almost too small to matter. But over time, this habit not only improves their physical health, but also boosts their confidence and builds momentum for more substantial change. The reason these small shifts are so effective is that they rewire your brain and reset your expectations. When you take action, even in the smallest way, you're telling yourself, I am capable of growth. This belief is transformative because it changes the way you see yourself. In fact, neuroscientists have found that habits are like paths in a forest. The more you walk a path, the clearer it becomes, while unused trails begin to fade. By choosing your actions with intention, you can build new paths that lead to a more fulfilling life. Each small, intentional choice is like taking a step on a newly chosen trail, gradually replacing the overgrown paths of old habits with ones that guide you toward your goals. Take a moment to think about how this might apply to your own life. Are there routines or habits you've fallen into that feel stagnant or unproductive? Maybe it's scrolling endlessly on your phone when you'd rather be reading or spending time with loved ones. Perhaps it's hitting snooze on your alarm, even though you've always dreamed of having a peaceful morning routine. Or maybe you've been avoiding a project or goal because it feels too overwhelming to even start. Whatever the situation, the first step isn't to tackle everything at once. It's to choose one small, meaningful shift and commit to it. Change doesn't need to be dramatic to be effective. It needs to be intentional and sustainable. Imagine someone striving to be more productive at work. Instead of overloading their schedule with back-to-back tasks, they decide to begin each day with 5 minutes of focused planning. This small change doesn't take much time or effort, but it sets the tone for a more organized and intentional day. Over weeks and months, the habit compounds, leading to noticeable improvements in productivity and job satisfaction. This is the power of a shift. It's not about doing more, it's about doing better. By identifying the areas that matter most and approaching them with purpose, even the busiest of days can feel more manageable and meaningful. Shifting also requires self-compassion. Often, people approach self-improvement with an all-or-nothing mindset. They think, if I can't be perfect, why bother at all? If they stumble, they feel like failures and give up entirely. But lasting change doesn't demand perfection, it demands persistence. Allow yourself the grace to stumble, knowing that every effort counts. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. You don't master balance on your first try, but each fall brings you closer to success. Shifting is no different. It's a process of learning, adjusting, and growing. Self-compassion isn't just about forgiving yourself for missteps. It's about recognizing that growth is messy and nonlinear. There will be days when you struggle to stick to your new habit or when progress feels slow. On those days, remind yourself that even small efforts move you forward. For instance, if your goal is to meditate daily, but you only manage a few minutes of mindfulness on a busy day, that's still progress. These small victories add up, reinforcing your belief in your ability to change. Consider this. Shifting your habits isn't just about what you do, it's also about how you think. When you view small changes as insignificant, you undermine their potential to create lasting impact. But when you recognize their value, you empower yourself to take action. Each shift is like planting a seed. At first, the effort might seem invisible, but with time and care, those small seeds grow into something far greater than you imagined. The process requires patience, but the results are worth it. To make a meaningful shift, start by identifying one area of your life where you'd like to see change. What's one small step you can take today to move closer to your goal? Maybe it's swapping a sugary drink for water, spending 5 minutes tidying your workspace, or writing down one thing you're grateful for each evening. These actions might seem tiny, but they're powerful because they align with your larger vision for yourself. As you commit to small, consistent shifts, remember that you're not just changing your habits, you're reshaping your identity. With every intentional action, you're reinforcing the idea that you are someone who prioritizes growth, learning, and self-improvement. This shift in mindset is what makes transformation possible. It's not about perfection or radical changes. It's about showing up for yourself, one small step at a time. So ask yourself, what's one small change you can make today? What's one action that aligns with the person you want to become? Start there, and trust that these small shifts will lead to something much greater. Over time, you'll look back and realize that the big, meaningful changes in your life began with simple, intentional steps, and that you always had the power to make them. As we move through this book, remember that each chapter builds on the last, guiding you toward lasting change. For now, focus on recognizing the areas in your life where a small shift could create a ripple effect. What's one thing you can start doing today that aligns with the life you want to live? Reflect on that question and take your first step. Change begins not with dramatic gestures but with a decision to shift. Chapter 2. Breaking the cycle. Identifying and replacing limiting habits. Why do we keep doing things that we know hold us back? Whether it's procrastinating, overeating, or constantly doubting ourselves, the answer lies in our habits. Habits, for better or worse, shape who we are. They are patterns of behavior that become automatic, often running in the background without us even realizing it. Some habits help us thrive, while others limit our potential. The good news is that no habit is permanent. Once we identify the habits that limit us, we can replace them with ones that empower us. The process isn't instantaneous, but with awareness and effort, meaningful change is always possible. The first step in breaking any cycle is awareness. Often, we don't pause long enough to notice our habits. We simply operate on autopilot. Take a moment to think about your day. Are there actions or routines you repeat without much thought? Maybe you reach for your phone as soon as you wake up, grab unhealthy snacks when you feel stressed, or tell yourself, I'll do it later when faced with a daunting task. These behaviors may feel insignificant in the moment, but over time, they can have a profound impact on your well-being, productivity, and happiness. The things we do daily, no matter how small, add up to shape the quality of our lives. Consider Sarah, a working professional who constantly felt overwhelmed. Every evening, she would sit on the couch scrolling through social media, convincing herself she was relaxing. But instead of feeling rested, she ended up feeling more stressed and unproductive. She would compare herself to others online, feel guilty about how much time she spent scrolling, and go to bed anxious. One day, Sarah decided to track her habits, writing down how she spent her time. She was shocked to see how much of her evening was consumed by aimless scrolling. Once she became aware of the habit, she decided to replace it with something more fulfilling: reading a book for 20 minutes before bed. The shift wasn't easy at first. Her phone still tempted her. But over time, her new habit became a source of relaxation and inspiration, helping her end her days on a positive note. What started as a small change had a ripple effect on her overall well-being. Breaking limiting habits isn't just about stopping the behavior, it's about understanding what drives it. Most habits are responses to a cue, something that triggers the behavior. For example, stress might cue overeating, boredom might lead to procrastination, or insecurity might result in self-doubt. These cues are often emotional or situational, and recognizing them is crucial to disrupting the cycle. By identifying the cue, you gain the power to interrupt the habit loop. Instead of mindlessly reacting, you can choose a healthier response that aligns with your goals. Take Mark, for instance. He struggled with procrastination, often delaying important tasks until the last minute. At first he thought he was just lazy, but through reflection, he realized his procrastination stemmed from fear of failure or not meeting expectations. This fear made him avoid starting tasks altogether. Once he identified this cue, he replaced his habit of avoidance with a new response, breaking his tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Instead of trying to tackle an entire project at once, Mark would start with a 5-minute task. Each small victory reduced his fear, helping him build momentum and confidence. Over time, his procrastination habit was replaced by a proactive approach that allowed him to face challenges without feeling overwhelmed. Replacing a habit also involves creating an environment that supports your goals. If your kitchen is filled with junk food, it's harder to eat healthily. If your workspace is cluttered, it's harder to focus. Our environments play a significant role in shaping our behavior, often without us realizing it. By designing an environment that aligns with the habits you want to build, you reduce the friction that often leads to relapse. Think of it as setting yourself up for success by removing unnecessary obstacles. For example, if you want to exercise regularly, keeping your workout clothes visible and ready can make it easier to follow through. If you want to limit distractions, placing your phone in another room while working can help you stay focused. These small adjustments can make a big difference in supporting positive habits. It's important to approach this process with patience and self-compassion. Changing habits takes time, and setbacks are part of the journey. When you stumble, don't see it as failure. See it as a chance to learn. Reflect on what triggered the old habit and how you can respond differently next time. Remember, breaking a habit is rarely a straight path. It's more like a series of zigzags, with each misstep offering an opportunity to adjust and grow. Think of habit change as planting a garden. At first, you need to clear out the weeds, the habits that no longer serve you. Then you plant new seeds, nurturing them with consistent effort and care. Some days, progress may feel slow or invisible, but beneath the surface, your efforts are taking root. Over time, these new habits will grow stronger, crowding out the old patterns that once held you back. One powerful tool for habit change is rewarding yourself for progress. Positive reinforcement helps your brain associate new habits with pleasure, making them more likely to stick. For example, if you complete a week of consistent workouts, treat yourself to something you enjoy, like a favorite meal or a relaxing activity. These small rewards create a sense of accomplishment and motivate you to keep going. Ultimately, the process of breaking limiting habits and building empowering ones is a journey of self-discovery. It requires honesty, reflection, and a willingness to try new approaches. As you replace old habits with new ones, you're not just changing your behavior, you're reshaping your identity. Each intentional action reinforces the belief that you are capable of growth and change. So ask yourself, what habits are holding you back? What small step can you take today to begin shifting your patterns? By starting with awareness and committing to consistent, meaningful changes, you have the power to break free from limiting habits and create a life that reflects your true potential. As you finish this chapter, take a moment to reflect on your own habits. Is there one behavior that holds you back from being the person you want to be? Think about the cue that triggers this habit and consider one small, positive action you could take to replace it. Write it down and commit to practicing it this week. Change begins with awareness, but growth happens through action. It's time to break the cycle and step into the life you deserve. Chapter 3. Your Why, Your Way. Defining purpose to drive action. Why is it that some people can push through challenges while others lose momentum? The answer often lies in a simple but powerful concept: purpose. Purpose is more than just a lofty idea. It's the driving force that gives meaning to your actions. When you have a clear why behind what you do, you gain the motivation to persevere, even when the journey gets tough. Purpose is your internal compass, guiding you toward choices that align with what truly matters to you. Without it, even the best intentions can fade into inaction, leaving you feeling stuck or directionless. At its core, purpose is deeply personal. It's not about what others expect from you. It's about what you value and what brings you meaning. For example, someone trying to get fit might feel unmotivated if their only reason is external pressure, like societal standards or comments from others. They may start strong, but without a deeper connection to their goals, the effort can quickly feel burdensome. But if their why is rooted in something meaningful, like wanting to be healthy to play with their kids, support their loved ones, or live a longer, more vibrant life, their motivation transforms. Suddenly, the effort becomes worthwhile, and sticking to a fitness routine feels less like a chore and more like an act of self-care. Purpose gives actions context, turning mundane tasks into stepping stones toward a fulfilling life. The importance of purpose became clear to Daniel, a young professional overwhelmed by his workload. He found himself saying yes to every request, burning out in the process. He was stuck in a cycle of overcommitment, chasing goals that seemed important on the surface, but left him feeling drained and unfulfilled. When he finally paused to reflect, he realized he was pursuing ambitions that didn't resonate with his values. His why wasn't aligned with his actions. Daniel decided to focus on what mattered most to him: personal growth and meaningful connections. By prioritizing these values, he learned to say no to projects that didn't serve his purpose. This shift gave him the clarity and energy to excel in areas that truly fulfilled him, turning his scattered efforts into intentional progress. Defining your purpose doesn't have to be daunting. It's not about coming up with a grand, life-altering mission statement overnight. Instead, it starts with asking yourself honest questions. What excites me? What do I care about most? What kind of impact do I want to make? These questions invite you to explore the values and passions that already exist within you. Your answers might not come immediately, and that's okay. Purpose often reveals itself gradually, through reflection and experience. It's less about having a perfect answer, and more about identifying what feels authentic to you. Even small insights can become the foundation for a clearer sense of direction. Once you define your purpose, it becomes a powerful motivator. Think of it as a lighthouse, helping you navigate life's inevitable storms. When challenges arise, your purpose acts as a reminder of what you're working toward and why it matters. For instance, consider Mia, who wanted to transition to a more fulfilling career. The process wasn't easy. She faced rejection and self-doubt along the way. At times, she questioned whether the effort was worth it. But her why was clear. She wanted a career that aligned with her passion for helping others. That purpose kept her grounded and determined, even on difficult days. Eventually, she landed a role in nonprofit work, turning her dream into reality. Without her purpose as an anchor, she might have given up long before reaching her goal. Purpose also provides a filter for your decisions. Life is full of distractions, and it's easy to get pulled in 100 directions. Opportunities, challenges, and expectations from others can all compete for your time and energy. But when you're anchored by your why, you can evaluate these choices with clarity. Ask yourself, does this align with my purpose? If the answer is yes, it's worth pursuing, even if it's challenging. If not, it's easier to let go without guilt or hesitation. This clarity allows you to focus your efforts where they matter most, reducing the noise and creating space for intentional action. It's important to remember that your purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. Society often celebrates big, dramatic achievements, but a meaningful life doesn't have to be defined by monumental goals. Your purpose could be as simple as creating a stable, loving home for your family, pursuing a hobby that brings you joy, or contributing to your community in small but meaningful ways. What matters is that it resonates with you and gives your actions a sense of direction. Purpose is about alignment, not magnitude, about living in a way that feels true to who you are. To make your purpose actionable, connect it to your daily habits. Purpose isn't just a guiding idea, it's a way of living. Small, purposeful actions build momentum over time, creating a ripple effect in your life. For instance, if your purpose is to nurture your creativity, you might commit to 10 minutes of writing, sketching, or painting each day. If your purpose is to improve your health, you could start by cooking one nutritious meal per week, or taking a short walk after dinner. These small steps, tied to a larger why, become the building blocks of a fulfilling life. They create a feedback loop where each action reinforces your sense of purpose and motivates you to keep going. It's also worth noting that your purpose isn't static. It can evolve as you grow and your priorities shift. What drives you today might look different 5 or 10 years from now, and that's a natural part of the journey. The key is to stay connected to yourself, regularly reflecting on what matters most and adjusting your actions accordingly. Purpose is less about finding one definitive answer and more about remaining open to the possibilities that life presents. So, how do you begin? Start small. Reflect on what lights you up and what feels meaningful. Ask yourself, what's one small step I can take today to align my actions with my purpose? As you move forward, remember that purpose isn't about perfection or having all the answers. It's about living with intention, grounded in a why that inspires you to keep growing. Over time, those small purposeful steps will add up, leading you toward a life that feels aligned, meaningful, and uniquely yours. As you finish this chapter, take some time to reflect on your own why. What drives you? What gives your life meaning? Write it down, even if it feels incomplete. It's a starting point. Then think of one small action you can take this week to honor that purpose. Remember, when your actions align with your values, you're not just building habits, you're building a life that feels rich with meaning. Chapter 4. Momentum Matters. Building small wins for big gains. Have you ever noticed how accomplishing even the smallest task can make you feel like you're ready to tackle something bigger? That's the magic of momentum. Momentum is the quiet but powerful force that fuels progress. It's what transforms effort into progress and progress into success. Like a gentle push that sets a wheel in motion, momentum builds upon itself, creating a ripple effect that drives you forward. By focusing on small wins, you can create this chain reaction, making even your biggest goals feel achievable. With momentum on your side, daunting tasks become manageable, and the path to success feels more accessible. Momentum starts with action, no matter how small. Too often, we get stuck in a cycle of overthinking, waiting for the perfect moment to begin. We tell ourselves we'll start tomorrow, or when the timing is just right. But the truth is, waiting only delays progress. The most effective way to build momentum is to take one step, however tiny, in the direction of your goal. For example, if your goal is to write a book, sitting down to write just one sentence can break the inertia. That small act leads to another, and before you know it, you've written a page, a chapter, and eventually the entire book. The key is starting, even if it feels insignificant at first, because every step forward is a step closer to your goal. Consider how athletes use momentum to their advantage. A runner doesn't start by sprinting full speed. They begin with a few steps to find their rhythm. As their confidence builds, so does their pace. This gradual buildup allows them to conserve energy and maintain endurance, making the finish line more attainable. The same principle applies to any goal. When you start small and build gradually, you set yourself up for sustainable progress. This approach not only makes your goals more manageable, but also reinforces your belief in your ability to succeed. Each small victory adds to your sense of accomplishment, creating a positive feedback loop that propels you forward. Momentum is also about consistency. Small, consistent actions create a compounding effect over time. Take James, for example, a man who wanted to save more money but felt overwhelmed by the thought of cutting expenses drastically. The idea of slashing his budget felt restrictive and unrealistic, making it hard to even start. Instead of making drastic changes, he started by saving just $10 a week. It felt manageable, and seeing his savings grow even by small amounts motivated him to save more. Over a year, those small weekly deposits grew into a significant sum. More importantly, James had built a habit of saving, making it a natural part of his life. What began as a small, deliberate action evolved into a lifestyle change, all fueled by the steady power of momentum. Another key to momentum is celebrating small wins along the way. Every time you achieve something, no matter how minor, you're reinforcing your sense of accomplishment. For instance, imagine someone training for their first marathon. Running 26.2 miles might seem daunting, even impossible at first glance, but celebrating smaller milestones, like running a mile without stopping or completing a 5K, provides motivation to keep going. These moments of recognition fuel the drive to achieve more. Small victories remind us that progress is happening, even when the bigger goal feels far away. Momentum can also help you recover when progress slows or setbacks occur. Life isn't linear, and challenges are inevitable. There will be times when motivation wanes or unexpected obstacles arise. However, when you've built a habit of taking small, consistent actions, it's easier to regain your footing. For example, Emily, a student preparing for a major exam, found herself overwhelmed by the sheer amount of material she had to study. At first, she felt paralyzed by the workload, unsure of where to start. Instead of giving up, she focused on studying one topic at a time, creating a study plan that broke the material into manageable pieces. Each completed topic gave her the confidence to tackle the next, and soon she was back on track. Emily's approach highlights the resilience that momentum provides. It helps you stay grounded and keep moving forward, even when the path gets tough. It's worth noting that momentum thrives in an environment of positive reinforcement. Surrounding yourself with supportive people, setting up a system to track your progress, and maintaining a mindset of gratitude can all amplify your momentum. Even small gestures, like marking off a completed task on your to-do list, can provide a sense of satisfaction that propels you forward. Celebrating progress, no matter how small, creates a sense of achievement that motivates you to keep going. Think of it as adding fuel to the fire of your efforts. Another way to maintain momentum is by focusing on the process rather than the outcome. When you become too fixated on the end goal, it's easy to feel discouraged if results don't come quickly. But when you shift your attention to the actions you're taking each day, you stay engaged in the journey. For example, someone aiming to get healthier might focus on enjoying daily walks or trying new recipes rather than obsessing over the number on the scale. This mindset makes the process more enjoyable and keeps momentum alive, even when progress feels slow. As you think about your own goals, consider how you can use momentum to your advantage. What's one small, immediate action you can take today? Remember, progress doesn't require giant leaps. It's built on the foundation of tiny, consistent steps. Whether it's writing a single email, going for a short walk, or setting aside 5 minutes to meditate, each action brings you closer to your goal. Over time, these small steps add up in ways that might surprise you. Momentum is a reminder that greatness isn't achieved in a single moment, but through a series of small, intentional actions. By starting where you are, celebrating each win, and staying consistent, you can harness the quiet power of momentum to turn even your biggest aspirations into reality. The question is, what's your next step? To apply this concept, reflect on a goal or project you've been putting off because it feels too overwhelming. Break it down into the smallest possible step you can take right now. Write that step down and commit to doing it today. Then, when you've completed it, acknowledge your achievement, no matter how small it might seem. Momentum isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And with every step you take, you're proving to yourself that success is within your reach. Chapter 5. Mastering the Mind. Reframing challenges as opportunities. Why do some people thrive under pressure, while others crumble at the first sign of adversity? The difference often lies in mindset. How you perceive and respond to challenges shapes your ability to overcome them. When you view obstacles as opportunities rather than setbacks, you unlock the potential to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. This chapter is about shifting your perspective and mastering your mind to see challenges as catalysts for progress. At the heart of this transformation is the concept of reframing. Reframing doesn't deny the difficulty of a situation. It shifts your focus from what's going wrong to what could go right. For instance, imagine losing a job. On the surface, it's a stressful and painful experience. But with a reframed mindset, it could also be seen as a chance to explore a new career path, pursue passions that were put on hold, or gain clarity about what truly matters. The situation hasn't changed, but your perspective has, and with it, your ability to take meaningful action. This approach is exemplified by Ravi, who faced a major setback when his business partnership dissolved unexpectedly. Initially, Ravi felt defeated and angry, questioning his ability to start over. However, after taking time to reflect, he realized the split freed him to pursue a vision for his business that better aligned with his values. By reframing the challenge as an opportunity, Ravi not only rebuilt his business, but also found greater satisfaction and success than he'd experienced before. Reframing isn't just about major life events. It's a skill that can be applied to everyday situations. Consider a busy parent struggling to juggle work, household responsibilities, and time with their children. Instead of seeing these demands as burdens, they might choose to view them as moments to teach their kids about responsibility, teamwork, or the importance of self-care. This shift doesn't remove the challenges, but it helps create a more positive and productive mindset to face them. One powerful tool for reframing is asking yourself better questions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can I grow because of this?" The questions you ask influence the answers you find. By choosing questions that focus on solutions and possibilities, you train your mind to seek opportunities within the struggle. Another example comes from Mia, a student who was devastated after failing a critical exam. At first, she felt consumed by self-doubt, questioning her intelligence and future prospects. But with guidance from a mentor, she reframed her experience as a wake-up call to adjust her study habits and manage her time more effectively. Mia not only passed the exam on her second attempt, but also developed skills and strategies that served her well throughout her academic career. Mastering the mind also involves embracing discomfort. Growth rarely happens in the comfort zone. It occurs when you step into the unfamiliar and persevere despite uncertainty. Think of a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. The struggle to break free from its cocoon isn't just a step in the process. It's what strengthens its wings for flight. Similarly, challenges you face are often the very experiences that prepare you for the next level of success. However, shifting your mindset isn't about pretending everything is perfect or ignoring pain. It's about holding space for both the struggle and the possibility. Acknowledge your feelings, but don't let them define your narrative. You might say, "This is hard, but I'm capable of handling it." Or, "I didn't succeed this time, but I'll use what I've learned to do better next time." This balanced approach fosters resilience and keeps you moving forward. Creating a habit of reframing takes practice, but it becomes easier over time. Start by noticing how you talk to yourself in challenging situations. Are your thoughts encouraging or discouraging? Replace negative self-talk with statements that empower you to act. For example, instead of saying, "I'll never figure this out," try saying, "I haven't figured this out yet, but I'm learning as I go." The words you choose matter. They shape your mindset and, ultimately, your reality. As you reach the end of this chapter, take a moment to reflect on a recent challenge in your life. How did you respond to it? Could there be a way to reframe the situation, seeing it as an opportunity rather than a setback? Write down one positive outcome or lesson you could take from that experience. Then, commit to applying this perspective the next time you face adversity. Remember, mastering your mind isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about choosing how you respond to them, and in that choice lies your power to grow. Chapter 6: Habits of Excellence. Designing routines that stick. Why do some habits seem effortless while others feel like an uphill battle? The answer lies in design. Habits don't just happen. They are carefully shaped by the environment, mindset, and systems around us. When you design your habits with intention, they transform from fleeting efforts into lasting routines. This chapter focuses on creating habits that stick and become a natural part of your life. At the core of every habit is a cycle. cue, routine, and reward. The cue triggers the behavior, the routine is the action you take, and the reward reinforces the behavior, encouraging it to continue. Understanding this cycle is the first step to designing habits that align with your goals. For example, if you want to start exercising regularly, a cue might be laying out your workout clothes the night before. The routine is the workout itself, and the reward could be the boost of energy and accomplishment you feel afterward. Consider Maria, a teacher who struggled to find time for self-care in her busy schedule. She wanted to establish a habit of journaling to reduce stress, but her efforts often fizzled out after a few days. By analyzing the habit cycle, Maria identified a strong cue, placing her journal and pen on her nightstand. She set a routine of writing for 5 minutes before bed and rewarded herself with a soothing cup of tea afterward. This simple system turned journaling into a nightly ritual, helping her unwind and process her thoughts consistently. One of the most effective ways to make habits stick is to start small. Ambitious goals are inspiring, but they can also feel overwhelming. Instead of trying to meditate for 30 minutes a day, start with just 2 minutes. Instead of overhauling your entire diet, focus on adding 1 healthy meal per week. These small, achievable actions build confidence and create momentum, making it easier to expand your efforts over time. Environment also plays a crucial role in habit formation. Our surroundings can either support or sabotage our efforts. For instance, if your goal is to eat healthier, keeping fresh fruits and vegetables visible in your kitchen makes it more likely you'll reach for them. On the other hand, hiding junk food in an inconvenient spot reduces the temptation to indulge. By aligning your environment with your desired habits, you remove friction and make success more accessible. Think about James, a remote worker who wanted to improve his focus during the workday. He noticed his desk was cluttered with distractions, mail, gadgets, and snacks, making it hard to concentrate. To design a more productive environment, he cleared his workspace, added a small plant for a touch of calm, and kept only the essentials within reach. This change not only improved his focus, but also signaled to his brain that his desk was a place for work, not distractions. Accountability is another powerful tool in building habits. Sharing your goals with a friend, joining a group, or using an app to track your progress can keep you motivated and on track. When you know someone else is rooting for you or checking in, it adds an extra layer of commitment. For instance, a group of friends who started running together every Saturday morning found that the social aspect kept them consistent. Even on days when one of them felt like skipping, the thought of letting the group down pushed them to show up. A common challenge in habit formation is dealing with setbacks. It's important to remember that perfection isn't the goal. Consistency is. Missing a day or slipping up doesn't mean you've failed. What matters is how quickly you get back on track. Think of a plane adjusting its course during a flight. Even if it veers off path momentarily, small corrections ensure it still reaches its destination. The same principle applies to your habits. When designing habits, it's also helpful to tie them to your identity. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to read more," say, "I'm a reader." This subtle shift reinforces the behavior as part of who you are, making it more likely to stick. For example, Emily wanted to run regularly but struggled with motivation. When she began identifying herself as a runner, she started making decisions aligned with that identity, like prioritizing runs and investing in proper gear. Over time, running became a natural extension of who she was. As you reflect on this chapter, think about a habit you've been wanting to build. How can you design a system around it using the habit cycle of cue, routine, and reward? Consider your environment. What changes could you make to support this habit? Finally, ask yourself, how can I start small and stay consistent, even when setbacks occur? Write down your answers and commit to taking the first step today. Habits of excellence aren't built in a day, but with intention and persistence, they become the foundation of a fulfilling life. Chapter 7. Fuel for the Fire. Staying motivated on the journey. Why is it that some people seem to stay motivated for the long haul, while others lose steam after an initial burst of enthusiasm? Motivation, as it turns out, is not something you simply have or don't have. It's something you cultivate. It's the fire that drives you forward, but like any fire, It needs to be fueled to keep burning. This chapter is about understanding how to sustain motivation, even when the journey becomes challenging. Motivation often starts with excitement. At the beginning of a goal or project, the novelty and possibility can energize you. But as time goes on, obstacles arise, and that initial spark can begin to fade. This is where many people falter, believing that their lack of motivation means they're not cut out for success. The truth is, motivation is not constant, it ebbs and flows. The key is to create systems and mindsets that reignite it when it wanes. One way to fuel your motivation is by connecting your daily actions to a bigger purpose. When you understand the why behind your efforts, you create a deeper sense of meaning that keeps you moving forward. For instance, Alex, a nurse, found himself struggling with long shifts and demanding responsibilities. But whenever he felt drained, he reminded himself of his purpose: to provide care and comfort to those in need. This perspective helped him push through tough days, knowing that his work made a difference in the lives of others. Another powerful motivator is progress. Seeing tangible results, no matter how small, reinforces your belief that your efforts are worthwhile. This is why tracking your progress is so important. Whether it's marking off tasks on a to-do list, recording your workouts, or saving a visual chart of your achievements, these small wins build momentum and give you a sense of accomplishment. For example, Sarah, an aspiring author, set a goal to write 500 words a day. Watching her manuscript grow over weeks and months fueled her motivation, reminding her that she was steadily moving closer to her dream. However, motivation isn't just about big achievements, it's also about celebrating the journey. Finding joy in the process can make even the most challenging tasks feel rewarding. Consider Ethan, a novice gardener who set out to grow his first vegetable patch. Initially, he focused on the end result, a flourishing garden full of fresh produce. But as he spent time tending to his plants, he discovered unexpected satisfaction in the daily rituals: watering, pruning, and watching tiny sprouts emerge. This shift in perspective made the process itself a source of motivation. Staying motivated also requires managing setbacks. No journey is without its obstacles, and how you handle them can make all the difference. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, view them as opportunities to learn and grow. For instance, when Maria, a college student, failed an important exam, she felt disheartened. But instead of giving up, she used the experience as a chance to reevaluate her study habits. By adopting new strategies, she not only passed the exam on her second attempt, but also gained confidence in her ability to adapt and improve. External support can also play a crucial role in maintaining motivation. Surrounding yourself with people who believe in you and share your goals can provide encouragement and accountability. For example, a group of friends who commit to a fitness challenge together might find that the camaraderie keeps them going, even on tough days. Knowing that others are cheering you on or counting on you to show up creates an additional layer of commitment. To fuel motivation, it's also important to focus on the things you can control. While external circumstances may fluctuate, your mindset and actions remain within your power. Remind yourself of the progress you've made, no matter how small, and trust that consistent effort will lead to results over time. As the saying goes, success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. As you reflect on this chapter, consider a goal or project where your motivation has started to fade. Ask yourself, what's my deeper purpose for pursuing this? How can I reconnect with the reasons I started? Write down one small step you can take today to reignite your motivation, whether it's celebrating a recent win, revisiting your progress, or reaching out for support. Remember, motivation isn't something you find, it's something you create. And with the right mindset and strategies, you can keep your fire burning bright. Chapter 8. Shifting Together. Harnessing Support and Accountability. Have you ever noticed how much easier it is to stay on track when someone is cheering you on or holding you accountable? The journey to self-improvement is rarely a solo endeavor. While personal effort is vital, having the right support system can make all the difference. This chapter explores how connection, collaboration, and accountability can amplify your growth and keep you motivated, even when the path feels challenging. Human beings are inherently social creatures. We thrive on connection, and are influenced by the people we surround ourselves with. When you involve others in your journey, you create a dynamic that fosters encouragement, motivation, and accountability. This doesn't mean your progress depends entirely on others, but rather that the right relationships can act as a catalyst, helping you achieve more than you might on your own. Consider Maya, who wanted to run her first marathon. She started training alone, but found it hard to stay consistent. On the advice of a friend, she joined a local running group. The camaraderie and shared enthusiasm of the group transformed her training experience. When she felt like skipping a run, the thought of letting her group down spurred her into action. The support and accountability she found with her running partners not only helped her complete the marathon, but also made the journey more enjoyable. Accountability is a powerful motivator. Knowing that someone is watching or expecting you to deliver can push you to show up, even on days when your motivation wanes. This is why many people find success when they share their goals with a trusted friend, coach, or group. For example, Daniel, a graphic designer aiming to improve his portfolio, partnered with a colleague to review each other's work weekly. The mutual accountability kept both of them focused and consistent, ultimately leading to significant growth in their skills. Support isn't just about accountability, it's also about encouragement. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable, but a supportive network provides the reassurance and motivation to keep going. Think about Lydia, who faced a series of rejections while applying for her dream job. Each rejection felt like a blow to her confidence, but her best friend reminded her of her strengths and encouraged her to keep applying. That support helped Lydia push through her doubts, and eventually, she landed a position that exceeded her expectations. Building a supportive environment also involves being intentional about who you surround yourself with. Positive influences inspire and uplift, while negative influences can drain your energy and undermine your efforts. If you're working on developing healthier habits, spending time with others who value health and well-being can reinforce your commitment. For instance, a coworker who joins you for a lunchtime walk can make it easier to stick to your fitness goals than a colleague who tempts you with unhealthy snacks. It's also worth noting that support and accountability work both ways. Being there for others not only strengthens relationships, but also reinforces your own commitment to growth. When you mentor someone, share your progress, or cheer on a friend, you remind yourself of the principles you're striving to uphold. For example, mentoring a younger colleague helped Jacob stay disciplined in his own professional goals because he wanted to lead by example. Technology can also play a role in creating accountability and support. Apps, online groups, and social media communities can connect you with like-minded individuals working towards similar goals. For instance, a fitness tracker app that allows users to share progress and cheer each other on creates a virtual support network that keeps you engaged and motivated. While digital tools shouldn't replace personal connections, they can be a helpful supplement, especially if in-person support isn't readily available. To make the most of support and accountability, it's important to communicate your needs clearly. Whether you're asking a friend to check in with you, joining a group, or hiring a coach, be specific about what kind of help you need. Are you looking for encouragement, constructive feedback, or someone to celebrate your wins with? Clear communication ensures that the support you receive aligns with your goals. As you finish this chapter, think about your own journey. Who are the people in your life who uplift and inspire you? Are there individuals or groups you could turn to for accountability or encouragement? Consider reaching out to one person or joining a community that aligns with your goals. Additionally, reflect on how you can be a source of support for others. Write down one action you can take this week to strengthen your support system, whether it's starting a conversation, forming a partnership, or offering help to someone else. Remember, growth is a collective effort, and together, we can achieve far more than we ever could alone. Chapter 9. Resilience in Action, Bouncing Back and Moving Forward. What happens when things don't go according to plan? When setbacks appear or progress feels stalled, it's tempting to lose hope. Yet, the ability to bounce back from adversity is one of the most critical skills for achieving lasting success. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulties. It's about navigating through them with strength and determination. This chapter focuses on building resilience so you can overcome obstacles and continue your journey with confidence. Resilience begins with mindset. Challenges are a natural part of any path toward growth, but how you interpret and respond to those challenges makes all the difference. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, view them as opportunities to learn and adapt. Consider Laura, an entrepreneur whose first business venture failed after just 2 years. Initially, she felt defeated, questioning her abilities and her decision to start the business in the first place. But with time, she reframed the experience as a learning opportunity. Laura identified the mistakes she made, such as underestimating costs and neglecting marketing, and used those lessons to build a new, more successful venture. The ability to reframe setbacks is key to resilience. When you encounter difficulty, take a step back and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience help me grow stronger? By shifting your focus from loss to growth, you empower yourself to move forward instead of getting stuck in frustration or self-doubt. Another pillar of resilience is emotional regulation. It's natural to feel overwhelmed or discouraged in the face of adversity, but allowing emotions to dominate can cloud your judgment and make challenges seem insurmountable. Developing strategies to manage your emotions, whether through mindfulness, journaling, or talking to a trusted friend, helps you stay grounded and maintain perspective. For example, David, a software developer, faced a major setback when a critical project he led was delayed due to unforeseen technical issues. Instead of letting panic take over, he took a walk to clear his mind and then broke the problem into smaller, manageable steps. This approach not only calmed his anxiety, but also enabled him to find a solution. Resilience also relies on flexibility. Rigid plans can shatter under pressure, but adaptable approaches allow you to pivot and keep moving forward. Take the example of Emily, who dreamed of becoming a published author. After years of rejection from traditional publishers, she decided to self-publish her first novel. This unexpected turn not only fulfilled her dream, but also gave her control over the creative process, leading to a loyal readership and multiple successful books. Building resilience doesn't mean you have to face challenges alone. Reaching out for support is a sign of strength, not weakness. Surrounding yourself with a network of people who understand and encourage you can make setbacks feel less overwhelming. For instance, Mark, a fitness enthusiast recovering from a sports injury, leaned on his friends and family for emotional support during his recovery. Their encouragement helped him stay motivated, and their belief in his ability to heal strengthened his own resolve. It's also important to recognize that resilience grows through practice. Each time you face a challenge and choose to persist, you build your capacity to handle future difficulties. Think of resilience like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Over time, situations that once felt daunting will seem more manageable, and your confidence in your ability to overcome obstacles will grow. Self-compassion is another essential ingredient in resilience. Treating yourself with kindness during tough times helps you avoid the trap of harsh self-criticism, which can erode your confidence and motivation. Instead of blaming yourself for setbacks, remind yourself that difficulties are a normal part of growth. Just as you would encourage a friend facing challenges, offer yourself the same understanding and support. As you reflect on this chapter, think about a challenge or setback you've faced recently. How did you respond to it? Could you have approached it differently to foster greater resilience? Write down one lesson you learned from the experience and one way you can use that lesson to navigate future obstacles. Resilience isn't about avoiding difficulties. It's about using them as stepping stones toward a stronger, more capable version of yourself. Remember, every setback is an opportunity to rise stronger, and every challenge is a chance to grow. Chapter 10. Living the Growth Shift, Sustaining Success for Life. What does it take to make lasting change? While achieving a goal is a significant milestone, the true challenge lies in sustaining success over the long term. Many people start strong but struggle to maintain their momentum. The key to a lasting transformation is adopting a lifestyle that supports continuous growth. In this final chapter, we'll explore how to live your growth shift by turning progress into a lifelong habit. Sustaining success starts with consistency. Growth isn't about one-time efforts, it's about the small, intentional actions you take every day. Think of a musician who practices regularly, not just for a concert, but because they love their craft. Their skill doesn't vanish after a single performance, because their commitment to practice sustains it. Similarly, when you integrate positive habits into your daily life, you create a foundation for enduring success. Consider Emily, who spent months improving her fitness through consistent workouts and healthy eating. When she reached her goal weight, she initially felt tempted to relax her efforts. But instead of seeing her achievement as an endpoint, Emily reframed it as a stepping stone. She shifted her focus from short-term results to long-term wellness, incorporating activities she enjoyed, like hiking and cooking nutritious meals. This mindset turned her progress into a sustainable lifestyle. Another key to sustaining success is revisiting your why. Over time, your goals may evolve, and that's okay. Regularly reflecting on your purpose ensures that your actions align with what truly matters to you. For instance, David, a teacher, initially pursued professional development to enhance his career. But as he grew, he realized his deeper motivation was to make a lasting impact on his students' lives. By staying connected to this purpose, David continued to find meaning and fulfillment in his work, even during challenging times. Flexibility is also essential for maintaining growth. Life is unpredictable, and rigid routines can be difficult to sustain. Instead of striving for perfection, embrace adaptability. This means allowing yourself to adjust your habits when circumstances change without abandoning them altogether. For example, Sarah, an avid runner, had to stop running temporarily due to an injury. Rather than giving up on her fitness goals, she shifted to low-impact activities like swimming and yoga, keeping her momentum alive until she could return to running. Celebrating your progress is another way to sustain your growth. Acknowledging how far you've come reinforces your commitment to continue. For instance, Mark, a writer, made a habit of reflecting on his achievements at the end of each month. Whether it was completing a chapter of his novel or receiving positive feedback, these moments of recognition motivated him to keep writing. Celebration doesn't have to be grand. It's about pausing to appreciate the journey and the effort you've invested. It's also important to cultivate a mindset of lifelong learning. Success isn't a destination, it's a continuous process of exploration and improvement. Approach life with curiosity, always looking for opportunities to grow. For example, Mia, a successful entrepreneur, never stopped seeking ways to enhance her skills. Whether it was attending workshops, reading books, or learning from mentors, Mia's commitment to growth kept her motivated and innovative, even after achieving significant milestones. Living the growth shift also means giving back. Sharing your experiences and supporting others on their journeys reinforces your own progress. For instance, mentoring a friend, volunteering, or simply sharing your story can inspire others and deepen your sense of purpose. When you contribute to the growth of others, you create a positive ripple effect that strengthens your own commitment to living a fulfilling and meaningful life. As you move forward, remember that sustaining success requires patience and self-compassion. There will be days when progress feels slow or setbacks occur. In those moments, remind yourself of the journey you've undertaken and the resilience you've built along the way. Trust in the habits and systems you've created and know that growth is a process, not a race. To close this chapter, take a moment to reflect on the journey you've been on throughout this book. What changes have you made, and how have they impacted your life? Consider one habit or mindset shift you want to carry forward as a foundation for your future growth. Write it down and commit to nurturing it as part of your everyday life. Remember, the growth shift is not a destination, it's a way of living. By embracing this mindset, you can create a life of lasting success, fulfillment, and purpose. Conclusion: embrace your growth shift. As we reach the end of Growth Shift, Empower Success with Positive Habits, take a moment to reflect on the journey you've undertaken. Together, we've explored the transformative power of habits, the importance of purpose, the value of small wins, and the resilience needed to overcome setbacks. You've learned how to design routines that stick, sustain motivation, and harness the power of support and accountability. Each chapter has provided tools to help you create a life of intention, growth, and fulfillment. Thank you for dedicating your time and energy to this journey of self-improvement. Your commitment to growth is a testament to your potential. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight, but with consistency and purpose, the growth shift becomes a way of life. If you enjoyed this book, share your thoughts and insights. And most importantly, keep embracing your journey of growth. You're capable of extraordinary things.